What happens if you eat a silica gel packet? You're opening a bag of chips, or maybe a new pair of shoes, and suddenly, you see it, a tiny white packet. Do not eat. Immediately, your brain starts panicking. Wait, what actually happens if you eat one? Would your stomach dry out? Would you need the hospital? Would you instantly regret every life decision that brought you to this moment? Well, good news. You probably wouldn't die. That tiny packet is usually filled with something called silica gel, and despite sounding like some dangerous chemical from a science lab, it's surprisingly harmless, mostly. Silica gel is designed to absorb moisture. That's why companies put those packets inside. Snack bags, medicine bottles, electronics, shoe boxes, because moisture destroys things. Food becomes stale. Electronics stop working. Medicine slowly breaks down. So silica gel acts like a tiny security guard protecting everything from humidity. But here's the weird part. We think of these packets as tiny, super-powered sponges, but that's not quite right. In fact, silica gel doesn't absorb water like a sponge at all. A sponge uses absorption, pulling water deep inside its structure and making it part of its bulk. Silica gel works differently through a process called adsorption. Notice the AD. It's a surface-level event. Its surface is covered with millions of microscopic pores. This structure gives it an enormous surface area. A single gram of silica gel has a surface area of over 7,500 square feet. That's larger than a professional basketball court. These tiny, invisible spaces are perfectly shaped to attract and trap water molecules from the air, holding them tightly on the surface. Imagine a giant parking lot built only for water. That's basically what silica gel looks like under a microscope. A perfectly engineered storage facility for moisture, which is honestly pretty impressive for something most people throw away without a second thought. But now comes the important question. It's a moment of pure accidental panic. You're unboxing your new purchase, and somehow, that little packet ends up in your mouth. So, what happens if you actually swallow it? First of all, let's clear up the biggest myth. Despite its job, your stomach is not going to dry up like the Sahara Desert. Your body is an incredible water-filled machine containing gallons of liquid. One tiny packet simply doesn't have the capacity to make a dent. And surprisingly, the silica gel itself is usually non-toxic. Most packets contain silicon dioxide, which sounds scary until you realize it's the same compound that makes up sand and quartz. It's even used as an anti-clumping agent in some foods. Because it's chemically inert, it doesn't react with your body or get absorbed. It just passes right through. So why the scary "do not eat" warning? The main reason is that the packet itself is a choking hazard, especially for small children and pets. Ingesting the beads could also lead to mild dehydration or an upset stomach, but it's generally not a cause for panic. However, a small number of packets, especially older ones, use cobalt chloride as a moisture indicator, which turns from blue to pink. This additive toxic, and if you suspect you've ingested one of these, you should seek medical advice. But for the vast majority of cases involving standard, non-toxic silica gel, the best course of action is to drink a glass of water and let nature take its course. The real danger is the packet, because your body cannot digest it, and if someone swallows a large packet, or several of them, it could become a choking hazard, especially for small children. That's one reason those warning labels are printed in giant letters. Not because the packets are deadly poison, but because humans are unbelievably curious. Seriously, the second we read, "do not eat," our brain immediately wants to know why. And honestly, what's not to love? They're tiny, unassuming little pouches, so lightweight you barely notice them. Sometimes they even look weirdly edible, like a mysterious new brand of mints. Which raises a very important question. If the silica gel inside is chemically inert and non-toxic, why do companies make the warning sound so incredibly dramatic? Well, for one, it's a classic case of better safe than sorry. In our litigious world, companies really don't want lawsuits. And while the gel itself isn't poisonous, the packet is a definite choking hazard for small children and pets. But there's also a fascinating historical reason. You see, some older silica packets contain chemicals called moisture indicators. These chemicals cleverly change color when the packet was saturated, letting you know it was time for a replacement. The most common indicator was a substance called cobalt chloride, which turns from blue to pink. Unfortunately, it's also classified as a carcinogen and could be harmful if swallowed. Today, most companies use much safer, organic alternatives for their indicating gels, or just skip them entirely. But the legacy of those early additives lives on, and so the terrifying warning labels stayed forever, a relic of a bygone, more cobalt-filled era. And now they've become one of the most recognizable warnings on Earth. Millions of people see them every single day. Almost everyone becomes curious about them at least once. And unfortunately, some people decide curiosity is a fantastic survival strategy. But now you know the truth. If you accidentally swallow a silica gel packet, you'll probably be completely fine. Your stomach won't shrivel up, your organs won't suddenly fail, and your body probably won't even notice. Still, maybe stick to eating the chips instead of the weird mystery packet beside them.